You point to a book, and your 2-year-old immediately brings it over. You ask them to find their shoes, and they walk straight to the closet. They understand every single direction you give them. But when you ask them to say a word back to you, you get silence. This silence is not a sign of stubbornness or a lack of effort. It is the result of a specific developmental gap between how a child understands language and how they physically produce it. We are going to build a concrete home speech encouragement plan that you can start using today. You will not need flashcards or long hours of drills. We are going to make specific, high-impact modifications to the daily routines you already have. The first mandatory step is shifting the focus from the words your child won't say to the physical skills they can't yet perform. When you recognize that they are still learning the mechanics of imitation, you can provide the specific support they need to finally find their voice. Step 1 of the plan is mapping your child's baseline. To do that accurately, we have to split communication into 2 distinct halves, receptive language and expressive language. This diagram illustrates how those halves work. Receptive language is the massive foundation under the surface. It represents what your child understands, like pointing to a dog in a book or following a command to sit down. Expressive language is the visible tip of the iceberg above the water. This is the physical, mechanical act of coordinating the lips, tongue, and jaw to speak words out loud. But when a 2-year-old understands everything and says almost nothing, the gap gets too wide. Research shows that when this gap is too large, frustration builds, leading to more frequent and intense tantrums. Your objective here is not to teach your child what objects mean. They already know that. Your job is only to provide the bridge to help them physically express those words through imitation. If your child understands everything you say, it proves their cognitive foundation is intact. They have the receptive skills. They are simply waiting for the physical bridge to be built. Before you implement any at-home plan, you need to audit your child's current development to ensure a home-based approach is sufficient. By age 1, we look for joint attention, connecting with you over an object, responding to their name, and attempting to imitate basic environmental sounds. For a 2-year-old, benchmarks increase to a working vocabulary of 50 words and the physical ability to combine 2 words together, like more juice. Next, we have to look for the red flags that indicate a need for immediate professional intervention. This data table outlines the primary concerns: a lack of gestures like waving or pointing by 12 months, 0 spoken words by 14 months, or an inability to follow simple directions by age 2. We also monitor for chronic ear infections. These can dampen the auditory signal your child receives, making it difficult for them to hear, process, and eventually mimic language correctly. Identifying one of these red flags is a definitive trigger to pause a home plan and schedule an evaluation with a licensed speech-language pathologist to find the specific cause of the delay. If your audit is clear, step 3 is the first physical change to your communication. You must eliminate carrier phrases. A common failure point occurs when a parent asks a toddler to repeat a full sentence, such as, "Say I want a pretzel, please." For a child struggling with articulation, full sentences create auditory overload. The request becomes jumbled noise, making it harder for the child to isolate the specific sounds needed to say the word pretzel. This typography graphic shows the replacement strategy. Strip the request down to a 1 or 2 syllable power word using the rule of 3. Instead of a full sentence, you will clearly and enthusiastically say, "Juice, juice, juice." Removing those extra words reduces the child's cognitive load, transforming an impossible sentence into an achievable target for imitation. Step 4 involves using a toddler's ability to anticipate what happens next to create a moment where they feel safe using their voice. Pick a daily routine, like clicking a car seat harness, and narrate it with the exact same phrasing. Buckle up, buckle up, buckle up. Once the child knows the routine by heart, you change the mechanic. You begin the phrase as usual, but you intentionally leave off the final word. Buckle up, buckle up, buckle. The most critical moment in this routine is resisting the urge to rescue your child by filling that uncomfortable silence yourself. This progress bar represents the processing time your child needs. When you drop that final word, you must mentally count to 5. This creates a gap of silence that gives their brain time to formulate the response. This pause is effective because it creates a predictable vacuum. Because the routine is so familiar, the child is naturally prompted to fill that space with the word they know is coming. To begin this plan, audit for red flags, replace carrier phrases with single target words, and initiate one daily pause routine. Speech progress is measured in small increments. Every new babble, copied gesture, or single syllable is a sign that the foundations of imitation are strengthening. Always prioritize the safety protocol. If your child exhibited any red flags during the audit, or if their speech is less than 50% understandable by age 2, schedule a professional medical evaluation. These strategies work because they take place within the routines you already share. By adding these small, technical shifts to your morning or evening habits, you turn every interaction into a structured opportunity for your child to speak. Comment below and let us know which daily habit you are going to turn into your first pause routine.